Hello and welcome. My name is Amy, and this is the channel Confidence in Christ. And we have gone through almost every single minor prophet. Haggai is one of the last of the three minor prophets in chronological order. So next we have Zechariah, and then there's Malachi, and that is it for the minor prophets. So it's very, very exciting. And so here we have to do a little bit of a background. I'm going to show you that quick chart here of chronological order. If you want to go back and watch the videos in chronological order, you will learn history. That's basically here. The first three is before the great Assyrian Empire got huge. And then here we've got the Assyrian armies were dominating with Amos, Micah, and Hosea. We can also fit in Isaiah, a major prophet. And then we have the end of the Assyrian Empire. Nahum tells us that they were going to be gone, gotten rid of. And then there's Zephaniah, Habakkuk, and then we can insert Jeremiah. Also, Daniel comes in about 620 here and gives us prophecy on some of these events. And then lastly, we have Haggai, and that is today, Zechariah, which is one of my favorites, and Malachi, which would be last. So a lot has been learned from the study of the minor prophets. Pretty much you can fit in so many of these Old Testament books by studying the 12 minor prophets. And so Haggai, I'm going to take you to my one last little cheat sheet here to understand the minor prophets. If you're ever interested, this is really, really what helped me besides doing it in chronological order. This here shows the kings, the time, and the prophets in their time. This chart here, I do have a video on it, so I don't want to get in too much depth on it today, but this is where we are with Haggai and Zechariah. So what has gone on thus far is the temple has been destroyed by the Babylonians. They are taken into captivity. Think of Daniel. That's when that happened. And now, under the Persian Empire and Cyrus's decree, they are allowed to go back to Jerusalem, which is very, very exciting. There in Jerusalem, they decide to rebuild the temple, yet they are having so much opposition. So let's take a look at the book of Haggai. They are having so much opposition for this temple to be rebuilt. Well, some of the opposition is within the same people. So they have nice homes, they're comfortable, they'd already built their homes, and they don't want these neighboring Gentiles throwing rocks at their houses that are so nice. They are so comfortable. And so from 535 to 520, people did nothing to the temple. So God clobbered them and hit them where it hurts. So then they have some agricultural difficulties, which pretty much means here that the economy is going to suffer. And so that is Haggai chapter 1, 6 through 10. And then they all start turning around through the preachings and teachings of these men. And the Lord bless them with the stirred up spirit. So the soul of Zerubbabel is on all systems go. Doctrine is piped into their soul. The same thing of Joshua and the remnant. So they're getting excited. They're getting into their doctrine. They have been under captivity for 70 years. Okay, and then chapter 2, well, now they're having some other issues too, because people had seen the beautiful, wonderful, amazing Temple of Solomon. And some of the old timers there were like, this won't even come close to that temple. So why even bother? So that was another really bad attitude. and critical attitude. And so past glories here can cause present discouragements if future promises are disregarded. Okay, and so here the future will feature an unshakable kingdom. So let's turn the page here. They pretty much had to get on board with doctrine to make this work. So it's kind of interesting. So who are you, O great mountain? And this is from Ezra. So the first opposition was unbelievers, apostates within, and there's legal action going on as well. The second opposition, the people themselves with nice homes and a great social life. Then they got with doctrine. The mountain in front of Zerubbabel will last for 14 years. When the Samaritans could not be allowed to join them, they began to attack the workers. They finally slowed this down with legal action. So it is Bible doctrine which leveled the mountain. Bible doctrine motivated them. And so we today have mountains in our own lives. All right. So here in this book, the land began to have prosperity, which lasted for 200 years. The temple that they worked on would last until 70 AD. And then if you all know what happened in 70 AD, the Romans come in and destroy the temple in 70 AD. And so also, let's see. The Lord, through Haggai, questioned the priesthood to answer rhetorical questions. Holiness doesn't rub off, but uncleanness does. A change of thinking is required if days forward will be different than from the day of foundation stone was laid. And then there's also a personal promise to Zerubbabel. Haggai has a vision and he is being crowned. And I believe this is sort of like he is in the family line of David. He was a type of Christ second only to David himself. These two kings were specifically servants of the Lord chosen by him. All right, so the temple was finally finished in 516 BC. And this is after 70 years of discipline. Here, believers cannot be unstable and double-minded to serve God wholeheartedly. So nothing could really go on with this temple until they got with doctrine, got all eyes focused on the Lord. Nothing was going on. They had great opposition. And then forgetting what lies behind does not prohibit learning from the past. And then God fulfills his promises even when they appear impossible. All right, guys, we're wrapping up with the minor prophets. I'm really, really excited. Zechariah is one of my favorite books, and that is coming up next. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye.